Hello everyone, it is your girl Jalen the alien, Jalen the goddess, Jalen Brunson, and today I want to be really open and vulnerable with you guys out there so that you can truly feel what I'm saying, so that you can feel connected to this message, because I just have a feeling that somebody out there needs to hear this message, and hopefully I can inspire somebody to tap into their sacred sexuality so that they can feel connected to their bodies, they can feel confident, so that they can feel like they are enough, and understanding that they have the power to manifest and to create the life that you want, because that is the power and energy beyond and beyond our yoni, which is vagina, whatever the case is. So experiencing orgasms, experiencing bliss is actually a huge part of living the life that we want, because it is talking about how we are divine goddesses right here, right now, and we have the ability to create life. And once we experience more orgasmic bliss, we can literally improve our quality of life by creating more happy feelings, okay? Literally more serotonin, more dopamine, more good feelings in our body and in our brain chemistry. We can have beautiful glowing skin, longer, healthier hair, okay? Better fertility, better moods, and less anxiety and depression. Yes, orgasms literally heal us. So don't let this world tell you that your orgasm is not important and that your pleasure is not important, because it is everything. It is sacred. And once women start knowing this, it will change your life. But let's dive in. So when it comes to my story, I've had a very interesting relationship with my sexuality. I've gone through things like sexual trauma. Okay, I was raped at a very young age, porn addiction, okay, addiction issues that rose from that, and also just this weird thing when it came to taboos around sex. I was introduced at sex at a very young age, but at the same time I was also taught that sex is not really something I'm supposed to be engaged in, because our family dynamics and, you know, growing up in a Christian household, we get taught to kind of not connect to our sexual energy, because no masturbation, that's the bad, you can't do that, don't masturbate, don't connect with yourself. We get taught that at a young age, don't have sex because you'll get pregnant or you'll get STDs, and that's just the worst of it, and you're not supposed to have sex before marriage and blah blah blah. So at a young age I was introduced to sex, and from a lot of different ways, but at the same time I had a lot of sexual guilt, a lot of sexual shame, a lot of sexual trauma that was just trapped in my womb, trapped in my yoni space, to the point where I started to grow older and get a little bit older, somewhere like in high school. I lost my virginity, and the first time that I lost my virginity, it was okay, like it was fine, like I obviously had a good time, but I noticed that I didn't orgasm, and it didn't really cross my mind or anything, because I was like, oh, you know, I don't know, I didn't even know what to expect. I didn't even know that you could orgasm with the first time I had sex. It's a whole thing. Okay, so the second time that I got with somebody, which was kind of like this second guy I was talking to in high school, and I really had no idea that you could say no. I didn't really have the strength in my being to know that you can actually say no, that you can have boundaries, that this was my sacred space. When he approached me like in a way that he wanted to have sex, and we were talking for a while, so I was like, yeah, maybe this is what you're supposed to do, even though I wasn't really comfortable with doing it in the first place with that particular person. But I just went along with it anyway, because I don't know, there's just something in me that's like, let's just do it. We don't get taught about consent and stuff when we're in school, so it was just bad. So I was having sex with him, and, you know, he was penetrating me, and I just remember the whole time feeling like I didn't want to do it, feeling like I did something wrong, and also not feeling anything. I didn't feel anything down there whatsoever. I felt numbness, and it was just like, when is this going to stop? So then from that point on, I kept on having sex with these individuals, and when I was having sex, even if I like them, even if I was, you know, maybe I was in a relationship with them. I noticed that when it came to sex, I just couldn't orgasm. I felt all the feelings, I felt everything, but I just couldn't orgasm. And a lot of the times I even felt numb. I developed this numbness down there, and I struggled a lot, and it made me feel like I was broken. It made me feel like there was something wrong with my body, that there was something wrong with my yoni. But it wasn't until I discovered Tantra, sacred sexuality, really Yoni Eggs, Yoni meditations, Yoni steaming, that I was able to finally experience orgasm for the first time. Because what happens to a lot of women, we don't get taught about sacred sexuality. We don't get taught about how sensitive we are as beings, and there isn't weakness in sensitivity. There is power in feeling and emotion and vulnerability. We don't get taught about consent and boundaries. We don't get taught about what our yes feels like in our body, and also what our no feels like in our body. We don't get taught these things. We don't get taught that sex is usually emotional for us, and that relaxation and feeling comfortable in our own skin, feeling comfortable in our bodies, leads to more blissful, unifying, and amazing orgasmic experiences. For me, it wasn't until I did the deep work on myself, the deep shadow work on myself, where I eventually uncovered I had a lot of issues and trauma around my sexuality. Like I said before, I had a lot of religious guilt around sexuality, feeling like if I had sexual feelings or masturbation, whatever the case is, that I was sinning and I was doing something wrong. So even though I enjoyed it, a part of me was like, this is bad. So I developed a guilt around it, and that guilt sat in my yoni space. Like I said before, I was raped when I was younger, and I didn't even know it was rape at the time. I didn't know what rape was. All I know is that somebody, and I don't really want to say, but somebody very close to me basically fingered me, and they were older than me. They were significantly older than me, and you know, I didn't know that that was rape, because rape is any form of penetration. And during when it was happening, I was uncomfortable. I didn't really know what was happening, but I didn't know that that uncomfortability was sitting in my womb. So that was another thing I was holding on to. When I was younger, I was very into women. I experimented with women. My first experiences were with women, like my first kisses were with women and stuff of that nature. But, you know, you get taught that you're supposed to be straight, and if you have these feelings for women or whatever the case is, that something's wrong with you. So once again, adding just layer of guilt over my sexual energy, to the point where I started to feel nothing down there. When I started to have sex with people, it just started to feel uncomfortable. It started to feel like rubbing a balloon. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Sex started to feel physically uncomfortable. It felt like an invasion of my space, and it made me feel so uncomfortable. And it's not even something that I could physically pinpoint to the person or anything. It had nothing to do with the person. It was a very internalized feeling that I felt inside of myself on a very deep level. And like I said, that feeling of uncomfort, of discomfort, you know, almost like rubbing a balloon when I was having sex with people, it just was there. And sometimes if I just, you know, tried to think somewhere else, I could stop myself from feeling it. So it was almost like a mental thing. But I think that's a testament to how trauma can affect us on such a deep psychosomatic level, and you know, honestly, our muscles, like muscle memory. Don't get me wrong, trauma doesn't even have to result in rape. Sometimes trauma is having sex with people who hurt us constantly, or make us feel less than, or cheat on us, and we feel like we gave ourselves to somebody who didn't deserve us. Sometimes trauma is having sex with people who don't fulfill us or satisfy us, and we feel like we're just sitting there. This is all trauma to our yoni space, and honestly, understanding the effect that this can have on us is so important. Every day, women are getting diagnosed with a bunch of different illnesses to their vaginal space and stuff, but not knowing that the cause can be something way deeper than just something that Western medicine doesn't know about. But you know, we're gonna give you these pills. Really heal it and get to the root of it. You need to do the shadow work and the really deep healing work on yourself. And it wasn't even like I wasn't wet, or like I wasn't lubricated, or like the other person wasn't enjoying it, because they were. A lot of people wanted to have sex with me when I was in those relationships with people, they enjoyed having sex with me. And they almost found it like a competition or a challenge. Like, oh, he couldn't make you come? Your last relationship couldn't make you come? I'll do it, and I'll continue to do it. And I would make them orgasm, but they just couldn't make me orgasm. But I never could have the big oh, no matter how hard they would try, no matter what they would do, whatever the case was. But like I said, I kept on piling up all this trauma, all this guilt, all this feelings of just like shame in my yoni space, and I didn't even know until I did the shadow work on myself and really just sat with my womb, put my hands on my womb and just breathed in and out. And then I did a sacred yoni massage on myself, and that just basically means, instead of like, you know, massaging your yoni for the sake of orgasm, just for the sake of exploration and healing. So literally, I just got in a really calm, relaxed space. I took my fingers that are lubricated and I put them inside, and I just started massaging the inside of my yoni space. And I went around it like it was a clock. So I went to the top and I felt the top and I was rubbing it. I felt number 2, number 3, number 4, and I just kept on going around my yoni like it was a clock until I got to like 6. I got to the 6 o'clock portion of my yoni, and I just felt this pain. It felt tense. It felt tight. It felt like a huge pain. And I was like, ow, like, what is that? Like, why does that hurt so much? And it wasn't like there was any physical knot or anything physical there. I just felt all this tension there in that space. It almost made me want to stop massaging, but I just said, you know what? And next thing you know, I just started crying my eyes out. I just started bawling. I started releasing so much. And that's where I really learned about the power of muscle memory. We hold so much pain, so much trauma, so much emotions. If you've ever been through a toxic relationship, if you've ever been through an abusive relationship, if you've ever had insecurity and self-esteem issues, if you ever have felt like your pleasure was not worth it, if you've ever faked your orgasms, if you've ever had sex with somebody when you didn't want to have sex with them, if you ever were raped, you are holding so much trauma in your yoni space, and all that trauma is going to block you from experiencing the bliss that you're looking for and that you desire and that you're looking for in this world. And when you have all that, it's going to block you from fully embracing your sexual potential. So that's what I discovered. I was holding on to years upon years of sexual trauma and guilt and shame and all that stuff, and that was why I wasn't able to orgasm. It wasn't until I did that yoni massage, yoni meditation, and then used this bad boy right here, a yoni egg, which is a crystal that is polished perfectly, that is meant to be inserted into your yoni space. This is an ancient practice. This has been done for years in many countries, and it used to be a secret because basically this was said to be the key to unlocking sexual power and divine femininity in your being and fertility, okay, having stronger orgasms and stuff of that nature. I kid you not, it wasn't until I did my yoni egg practice and my yoni massage and meditation, the first time I did it, like I said, I was rubbing myself and I was rubbing the inside, just massaging myself, and then naturally I began to just bawl my eyes out and cry it out. And I kid you not, after that first session, the next time I used my yoni egg, I orgasmed 18 times. I'm talking, I orgasmed back to back to back to back 18 times, back to back to back to back, deep internal penetrative orgasms within myself, within my being. And the thing about it was, I was crying through it. Like, I was crying, and it was like, this is when I really realized that sexuality is not just about pleasure. It is so about pleasure. Your pleasure matters. So if you're involved with anyone and you're not being satisfied sexually, that is not where you want to be. But sexuality is also healing. Sexuality is also about creation. Sexuality is also about really feeling confident in our bodies, feeling fertile. When you're feeling fertile, and this is scientifically proven, When you're feeling fertile, you're having a lot of orgasms, you're feeling good. When you're fertile, when you're ovulating, you're more attractive, because naturally you have a lot of life energy within you. You're filled with oxygen, you're filled with energy, your skin is glowing, and you have that internal glow. When I was releasing all that trauma from my womb, it was years and years of guilt, shame that was just dropping out, but the orgasms were healing. They were healing my body, healing my aura, healing this divine feminine energy chakra that was blocked within me. And ever since I started doing my Yoni egg practice, Yoni egg meditations, and now even Yoni steaming, I have unlocked such beautiful orgasmic potential. And I want to tell you guys, you can orgasm. If you have trouble reaching orgasm, you probably have issues around your divine femininity, and you probably have issues in your womb space. And this can manifest as, okay, constantly getting yeast infections, constantly getting BV, okay, even contracting STDs and manifesting STDs. This can manifest as fibroids. This can manifest as a lot of heavy period cramps and excruciating periods. Okay, this can manifest as hormonal imbalances. Okay, all of these things all reflect back to blocked feminine energy, having a messed up relationship with your yoni, having a messed up relationship with your sacral chakra. But I kid you not, if you learn how to dive into your divine feminine essence, if you heal your womb, if you release, if you bring health into your body, and you nourish yourself as a sexual being, you tap into your sexual energy, you will be able to experience orgasmic bliss that not only is for pleasure, but is a cosmic representation of the divinity that is within you. Because as women, we are the creators of this universe. And once you own that and feel that, bro, you can have full body orgasms. You can make people orgasm without even touching them. You can have orgasms without even touching your body, just by breath work. You can orgasm from your nipples, any part of your body. You can have orgasms just because something tastes good. Because as women, we are naturally very sensual and sexual beings. And they try to suppress this within us, because if we instead have a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, lack of confidence, they make more money on us when we don't feel confident in ourselves. They make more money on us when we have a lot of guilt and shame. So they sell us all these products that are supposed to help fix us and make us better people, all these surgeries, all these things to do, and there's nothing wrong with that per se. But the thing about it is, once you own this goddess within you, you own that womb energy within you, you realize that you are beautiful right here, then and now. You realize that your body is amazing. You realize that you are everything, and that you created everything in existence, and you're connected to that energy at all times. So like I said, Yoni Eggs changed my life. If it wasn't for my Yoni Egg practice, I probably wouldn't be able to be orgasming now I just be orgasming, you know, like it's nothing. Like if I get involved with somebody sexually, like I easily orgasm, and I'm fully in the moment, and I'm fully present in the moment, because I love my body, I love my yoni, I love being a divine feminine being, I love being a woman. Like I'm so glad that I incarnated as a beautiful freaking woman inside and out. Like it's just amazing. This video is going to be sponsored by myself and my brand, mysticmommy.com, because this video is going to get demonetized. Definitely get you a yoni egg. I sell rose quartz yoni eggs on my site, and they're going to be in medium sized mostly, and that is a good size to start with if you ever wanted to start a yoni egg practice. And we also send you instructions when you purchase a yoni egg, so you know how to use it, you know how to work with it, and be prepared to experience a deeper connection with your womb, a deeper connection with your divine feminine energy in ways that I can't even explain, and a lot more orgasmic bliss and potential, so that you can liberate yourself and feel more connected and in tune with your body, because we are all capable of having amazing orgasms and bliss and stuff of that nature. And remember that your orgasm matters. your pleasure matters, okay? An orgasm is the deepest state of surrender to pure bliss and pleasure that you can ever experience. It's one of the easiest ways to tap into true vulnerability. So if you don't feel safe to experience that, or you don't feel worthy to experience that because we get taught all these things that our pleasure doesn't matter, or that our bodies aren't good enough, or that we're not beautiful enough, or that we should develop shame around this, we should have guilt around our sexuality, whatever the case is, we don't relax ourselves enough to be open to that kind of experience. And also for people out there, if you ever experience this feeling of feeling like you're about to pee, feeling like you gotta pee and you gotta go, don't be like, oh my God, let me hold this in because I don't wanna pee. Girl, that's you about to ejaculate, that's you about to squirt. So let it out and just let it go. Just let it go and just accept it and let it all come up to the surface. And that is how you're going to experience orgasm. The more that you allow yourself to just be vulnerable and to just be open to the space and to feel confident and to feel relaxed, and to also make sure you're having sex with people who make you feel that way, who allow it to be a safe space to just be free and liberated, wherever happens, whatever noises happen, whatever the case is, you're going to be more orgasmic, because the more confident you feel, the more comfortable you feel, the more you're going to be likely to orgasm. It is said that over 80% of women don't experience orgasm from penetrative sex. Women are more likely to experience orgasm with same-sex relationships versus opposite sex relationships. Most people get taught the programming and message that if you're not able to experience, you know, the penetrative sex orgasm, the only way that you're going to be able to experience it is that you also activate the clitoris. And don't get me wrong, this can definitely be true, but I am willing to bet that a lot of more women out there actually are able to experience just straight up penetrative orgasm if they use one of these, okay? If they use a Yoni egg, because what the Yoni egg does is it creates a mind-body connection between you and your pelvic floor and your Yoni space, so that you feel truly connected to that space. You become more sensitive to that space. You start associating that space as a place of pleasure, as a place of bliss, as a place of openness, as a place of relaxation, as a place of sacredness, okay? And the more that you do that, you basically create the channel for more orgasmic bliss to be had, and you're just completely opened as a beautiful orgasmic woman. And also remember that mind over matter, right? So if you have a belief subconsciously that you can't experience orgasm penetratively, and whatever the case is, you can only experience orgasm with your clit, okay, that's what it's gonna be. So you have to change your mindset around it and understand that we just don't realize how much trauma we actually hold in our Yoni space. And sometimes it's not even about trauma. Sometimes it's just strictly about how we don't understand how our bodies work, because we're never properly educated on how our bodies are able to come to orgasm, what mental, physical, emotional, spiritual things we can do to help activate that process. Feminine bodies are very mysterious, especially to Western medicine and Western science. So we don't ever truly get the chance to have the proper education to understand ourselves, especially on a sexual level. Even though as women, we are naturally sexual and creative beings. I mean, that's why we have a clit. There's no biological reason behind having a clit other than pleasure. So we have this in our bodies, but you can see this in other countries. They will literally cut off people's clits because they don't want women to access their sexual power. And that's why there's a lot of religious programming around our sexuality, which blocks women from being able to fully own their pleasure as well to the fullest capacity. But once we release the trauma and we heal through the trauma, we do the shadow work on ourselves, we do the shadow work on our yonis, at some point we are able to experience true orgasmic bliss. And when a woman is connected to her internal vagina, into her deep vagina energy, her deep sea, she is powerful, she is attractive, she is charismatic, she is magnetic, and she is a creative force of nature. So if you want to learn more about how to orgasm and the divine part of sexuality, please sign up down below using the link. So my classes are going to be available that are going to teach women how to be seductive, okay, how to get into their seductive energy, how to experience orgasm, how to use Yoni Eggs, how to awaken your inner goddess. I have my course down below and all these things. So if this is your type of thing, you want to know more about this and you're ready to just be a fertile, orgasmic human being. And once again, being fertile, like, it's more than just like, oh yeah, I'm fertile, like I want to have a baby. No, living in a fertile space is literally living in a creative space. And when you're in that creative space, when you're just flowing and you're just like, ooh, you're feeling good, you're attractive. Like, you attract the money, you attract the man, the women, whatever the case is, the friends, because things are pulled towards you because you are filled with life, and life attracts life, health attracts health, and that's just on period. And like I said, get you a Yoni egg. Okay, get you a Yoni egg. It will change your life. It has changed my life. I always tell my friends about Yoni eggs, and no, the egg is not going to get lost up there. You're going to be just fine. You just got to lay the egg, but I'm going to make a whole separate video just dedicated to Yoni eggs. The Yoni eggs are currently on sale, and we're selling rose quartz Yoni eggs, the stone of love, okay? The stone of love, romance, fertility, and compassion. That's on period. So make sure you check us out at itsbabyj.com, and I'll see you guys later. Bye now.